Center Second Monday Blues.
All right.
We're very excited for tonight's show. You guys are in for a special show. Our host Billy Branch is back, and
Thank you.
And he's going to be speaking with and presenting, and then he'll be performing J.W. Williams. So my name's Charles Rumback. I'm the Jazz and Blues coordinator here. We've got a nice series that we do the second Monday of every month. You guys are probably aware. But we've also got a blues festival coming up in October that you may not know about. October 16th through the 18th. And we're going to have some more info on that very soon. So if you haven't signed up on the mailing list, we've got one up front. Please do that, and we'll keep you up to date. Yeah, and I guess that's about it. So I'll introduce to you Billy Branch.
All right. Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming out and hopefully enjoying this series, the second Monday series. My wife Rose and I, give her a nice round of applause as well. Very proud to host and produce this series because, I mean, after all, the blues is one of Chicago's greatest natural resources. And I've always felt that we should celebrate it as much as possible. I always felt that Chicago hasn't fully embraced its legacy of blues, you know, because if you go down to Memphis, as soon as you get off the airplane, you see photos of Elvis Presley and B.B. King and Sun Records. You go down to New Orleans, you know you're in New Orleans because not only the food, but the music. And I think it's imperative that Chicago adopt the same attitude. So thank you all for coming and supporting the blues. Yeah, claps are well appreciated here. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge we have a stellar blues man in the house, a very good friend of ours, formerly Roy Hightower. Give it up for Doc 2 Root Music. We also have our current and former booking agent. How about a hand for Madeline Holloway right there? And we have Brady Harden Jr., whose dad owned the legendary Brady's Lounge on 47th Street, where all of us used to play. Give it up for Brady. So this man sitting next to me, the song "Don't Stop Me to Talking," I'll tell everything I know comes to mind because Jay and I have a long history together. I've always considered him one of the best bass players anywhere, one of the finest vocalists anywhere. And some years ago, our paths intersected back in the mid-'80s, and Jay had the Chi-Town Hustlers, I had the Sons of the Blues. And we had a really kind of strange thing going on for a while because we had this ridiculous deal that if I booked a gig, it was Billy Branch and the Sons of Blues and J.W. Williams and the Chi-Town Hustlers. If he booked a gig, it was J.W. Williams and the Chi-Town Hustlers and Billy Branch and the Sons of Blues. My father, my late father, rest his soul, he said, "Man, that is some Amos and Andy stuff." He said, "People come looking for two bands and there's only 4 people." But at any rate, I can't say enough about this man, and he's still going strong. We I don't know exactly how many years on and off, but we had a good run together. And one thing notable I want to say before I get into the interview questions, one thing we did do, and we kept a presence of the blues on the South Side, and we always felt it was important. We played together. We started out House of J Lounge on East 79th. 3 blocks down, we played at that was on Monday. 3 blocks down, we played at Mother's on Thursdays and Sundays. About 2 miles from that, we played the Raven on 88th and Stony on Wednesdays. Then, of course, we went to the legendary Artists, which I played there for 27 years every Monday. And then Jay, when we parted ways, Jay had Sundays and I had Mondays for many years. So, one more time for J.W. Williams, y'all. So Jay, you were born in Magnolia, Mississippi, and taught yourself to play guitar and harmonica at 12 years of age, right?
That's right.
What inspired you to do that?
Well, my brother had friends that played music. So they would come over, during the South. Once you get that weekend, you couldn't go back till you catch the bus to go back to school the next Monday. So they would practice and stuff. I said, I kind of like that. So I told my mom, I said, give me a guitar. She said, what you gonna do with it? I said, you get it, I'll show you. She said, baby, you told me to get you that guitar that took you halfway around the world.
Wow. Well, how did you happen to pick up harmonica? I know on rare occasion you pull out one during our gigs, but I know you didn't want me to cut your hair too bad, so.
Doing the zeros out.
But were there harmonica players, and were there different? What were some of the different artists that you would hear during that time? Do you remember them?
My brother.
Your brother.
Taught me how to play.
Okay.
My 2 brothers, they were bad. So that's what got me interested in harmonica.
Okay. At around 12 years old. Mm-hmm. Do you remember any, during your youth, any famous figures that you would listen to either live or on record?
Well, being in the South, a lot of things you didn't have access to, So I would hear B.B. King. I really didn't get into Apple King until I got north. Walton, Muddy Waters and all those guys like that.
So how would you hear them, on the radio?
Yeah.
Okay, you would hear the blues on the radio?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of musicians from the South would always complain about, some of them would say they had to sneak and play the blues because there's always that thing about the blues was the devil's music. Did you experience any of that?
No, not until I was a professional in my church.
Okay.
They asked me to sing a song. I said, well, I don't know the church song. So what I did, the song called Help Me.
Right.
I did the music, but I wasn't singing I was singing the spiritual lyrics.
Okay.
So some of the older ladies in there said, they walked out.
They what?
They told the pastor, oh, I'm singing blues. And he said, look, did you listen to the song? So you hear a song sound what blues go to us, but the lyrics was not blues. He was saying, help me, Lord, I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And they came back the next time and apologized.
So you started playing with gospel groups as well while you were still in the South,
right.
Correct?
Right.
And I didn't know this. You learned to play trombone and read music in high school?
That's when I learned how to read music, blowing trombone.
Okay. All right. So what eventually brought you to Chicago in the early 60s?
When my family started working on the docks, longshoreman. And so he wanted to move his family up here, so I moved up here in 62.
You came up to work on the docks?
I was in school. I was still in school.
You were still in school?
I ended up working on the docks.
Okay. So did your whole family did move to Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. And what really made you gravitate to the blues? Because I remember, I think I knew of you before you knew of me, because I remember in the early years when I would sit in with, in the early days when you're a musician, you just want to get on stage, and you try to get on stage with whoever you can. And I remember, I don't think, we may have talked about this, I think it was at the Peyton Place on 39th, and Anna Mae was running it. And I think I came in and sat in with you. Now I know you are just as fluent, and probably even more so to a degree, in rhythm and blues and soul and funk as you are in blues.
Yes.
So what made you eventually become more known as a blues artist?
Well, when the group broke up in '76.
Which group?
Chi-Town Hustlers.
The Chi-Town Hustlers.
And my guitar player said, look man, they're looking for a bass player down at the checkerboard, but the guy in Judy Webb.
Okay, wait, just to be straight now, at that time, Chi-Town Hustlers were y'all doing any blues? Or make one? See, that's like Dr. Root music too. See, these kids, I remember y'all, these kids, and I gotta say that, and they're gonna laugh, but they know I'm telling the truth, because our late bass player, Nick Charles, who used to play with Doc 2, he would say people would come in and ask for a blues song and they'd get mad. And matter of fact, Nick started writing a song, I'm Sorry I Turned My Back on the Blues. Because they wanted to play the soul and the funk. But go ahead, Jay.
So I told my guitar player, I said, hey man, I'm playing all this Doobie Brother, Eyes Brother, and all that, Earth, Wind and Fire. I don't know if I can just go there and just do. So he said, come on down, man, So when I went down there, it gave me a different feel. They was playing blues, but they had a little uplift with it.
Yeah.
I said, I can do that. And I got hooked.
You got hooked. So the blues was all right then.
Blues was all right. I mean, they were all right the first time, but I just wasn't in it.
Yeah. Who would you say are the most people, persons, or artists who shaped and influenced your current musical style?
Well, I always liked B.B. King. And I like Judy Wells. And y'all might have heard of my cousin Bo Diddley?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know he was my cousin. He needed a band, so my band was playing behind him. I told my dad, I said, we playing behind Bo Diddley. He said, boy, that's your cousin.
When was this? When was that?
This is back in the 70s.
In the 70s?
About 79, 78.
Okay, so those are some of the folks. But what about your vocal style? Who would you say would be your strongest influence? Because you have a real unique vocal style, which you all will, if you haven't heard JW, soon see what I'm talking about.
Well, when I was coming up, like I had a Smokey Robinson type voice. And you told me one day we was in the studio, say, hey man, come off of that light voice and come on with it. So I started growling.
Really?
Yeah.
I did it.
You did that. All right.
Okay. But so you say Smokey was a big influence at that time?
Was I had that
Okay.
high tenor, yeah.
Okay. You played with a lot of legends. To name a few: Jimmy Reed,
Yes.
Bobby Rush,
Yes.
Lonnie Brooks,
Yes.
Eddie the Chief Clearwater,
Yes.
Eddie Shaw.
Eddie Shaw.
You played with Big Mama Thornton?
Yes, I did.
All right. Buddy Guy, Syl Johnson, Junior Wells, Bo Diddley, you just mentioned, James Cotton, John Lee Hooker, and B.B. King.
Yeah.
Do you have any or one memorable story about playing with any of those greats?
B.B. King.
Okay.
We was doing a festival up in Montreal. So it was B.B. King, Big Mama Thornton, Oscar Peterson. So the guy invited them to the club. So now, he wanted B.B. King to hear me sing The Thrill Is Gone. I said, you crazy. I sang no Thrill Is Gone in front of B.B. King. You got it. So B.B. King is the only one that came to the club. Come on, man, sing. I was kind of young, about 29 or so.
Yeah.
So BB was sitting like right there where you sitting. We started playing Thrill Is Gone, I'm sweating, I'm shaking, you know. And BB King asked the guitar player to give him the guitar. BB played behind me. And I cried like a baby.
Wow.
The king is playing behind me.
Wow. Wow. That's great, man. Tour Europe. We toured Europe together. We recorded some albums live in '82. The Young Generation, along with Lurie Bell and former drummer Mose Rudess, who played with both of us for many years. We even had a collaboration together on Alligator Records, the New Blue Bloods. And what inspires you to continue performing? What's your inspiration to keep doing it?
I love my music. And I like making people happy. Sometimes people come up to me and say, well, you made me cry. I said, that's a happy feeling. I said, blues? People used to say, I don't like blues because it's sad. No, it's how you feel. Not the music, it's how you feel. You can listen to rock and roll and be sad. You can listen to rock and be sad. So she told me, she said, look, thank you. I respect the blues.
All right. All right. One final question, and this comes from, yeah, let's give it up for him, yeah. Now, you know I did not word this question like this. You know Rosa did this. You're an inspiration to all of us. What keeps you so musically vibrant?
Because I'm Saboodi.
Because you what?
Saboodi.
What the heck is that?
I'm speaking African.
Oh, excuse me.
That means good.
Oh, okay. Give it up for J.W. Williams, y'all. And what we're going to do before we start the set with his band, we're going to invite his guitarist.
Judd.
Judd. Give it up for Judd on guitar. I'm sorry, Judd. I've got blues-heimers. What can I say?
Hit it.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Oh, baby, you don't have to go. Oh, baby, mama, you don't have to go. I'm gonna pack up down that old road I go. Oh, baby, tell me what's wrong with you. Oh, baby, tell me what's wrong with you. You don't treat me right. She's a lady woman. Thank you. We're gonna rock it right.